All right,
Oh my God, we're back.
we're here. Today, first, welcome back to the Well Life podcast. Another quick little podcast as we go for a walk in Huntington, in between classes and clients and work and babies.
Babies. Take it up most of the time. But wanted to come back with, again, one of our series of some more actionable items in our in-between podcast shoots. Today we're coming back to our topics on how you can better your overall health and wellness, and really diving into, on this one, just getting outside and getting a little more sunlight.
Yep, so this is going to be number 3 out of those 8 original points that we have made about how to live a better life, a healthier, more wellness-filled life, and just be a little bit more intentional and conscious about it. We talked about intention on the last one, right? So the intention is going to apply to everything. And how can you be more intentional about getting outside and getting some sunlight? So the why, right, behind getting outside and getting more in contact with natural sunlight, the why is really going to be the basis right here, right? So number 1, which we kind of highlighted a little bit prior.
And I think we continue to dive into it because it's just so important, and even though we talk about it a lot, it seems to be neglected, correct?
Yeah, so the first point of why do we get outside and want intentional light is because, first of all, it's going to set our circadian rhythm, which is basically the rhythm and the flow in which your body runs, based off of, right, its sleep cycles, its awake cycles, based off of, right, the chemicals in your brain, what's being released, what's being fired between melatonin and cortisol, and, right, all these different receptors are receiving and sending out signals all day. So how can you be better prepared to live within your circadian rhythm, right? Light is going to set that up when you wake up in the morning, getting contact on the skin. As much open contact on the skin, the eyes, right, is going to set you up to be fully awake, get fully going for the day, and then actually can set you up to go to sleep better at night. So that's going to be number 1, to set your body rhythm right for the day, first thing in the morning.
And the second, for why it's just important to get outside, get sunlight, is going to be vitamin D. So vitamin D is essential for a lot of our body, our important bodily functions. Very important for bone density, important for calcium absorption. And we actually get about, well, we can see somewhere 80-90% of our vitamin D production is actually going to come from sunlight absorption. So getting outside, getting sun on the skin is going to give us the most amount of vitamin D that we're actually going to be able to get, and have the most amount of vitamin D production we're going to actually be able to get into our bodies. So yeah, you can have some fatty fishes, you can have some dairy that's going to get you some of that vitamin D that we need, but most of that is actually going to come from sunlight, and sunlight directly on the skin.
Yeah, and it's going to come from more animal-based sources too. It's funny, just to touch on that briefly, it's actually considered more of a hormone almost than it is a vitamin straight up, because it has a bunch of signaling things in the body that has to do with just total function of your body and energy levels and tons of different things, right, and issues that you can have if you don't have enough of it.
I think that we talk a lot about, and vitamins and minerals are spoken a lot about. People understand that they're important. Vitamin D, we have lots of people are vitamin D deficient is the word I was looking for.
It's the number 1
exactly.
deficiency, I think. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Because, and a lot of that's because we spend a lot of time indoors. So if 80-90% of our vitamin D intake is going to come from sunlight, a lot of people aren't getting out and getting in the sun enough, or they're not eating the appropriate diet to get the other side of it. So trying to get outside to get vitamin D, trying to eat the appropriate foods to get vitamin D, or looking to also have some supplementation to ensure that we're getting the appropriate amounts of vitamin D daily.
Yeah, which the first 2, right, go hand in hand. For the third one, as to the reason why we should get outside, is reducing stress. Number 1, at a base level, we're all primal kind of animals on this planet, and we get so stuck being in an office, inside, lack of exposure to the outside world, and just getting outside is so important and vital for us connecting to nature, our basis, right? There's a reason why you feel so calm when you're either like watching the sunset, watching the sunrise, just focusing on that one thing, or even at a beach, staring off into the water, hearing the waves, or going for a hike, right? You're in the kind of vegetation, the forest, walking around. It's actually, right, it sounds a little bit woo-woo or like hippie in that sense, right? And very, very like tree hugging, but it's true, because your body, we got some construction going on down there. We want to focus on that that premise of getting outside to reduce stress.
Yeah.
It can be so calming, and getting access to sunlight, just like we said with vitamin D, is going to set up your hormone balance much more efficiently, right? It's going to set up your circadian rhythm more efficiently.
So they've actually shown, kind of to your point, as you were saying, with
Yep.
stress, that just getting outside in sunlight in nature will actually decrease cortisol levels and also decrease heart rate.
Yeah.
So it's actually been shown impactful to actually reduce your stress and reduce kind of the hormones that are sending stress signals to your body.
Yeah, no, that's huge. It's funny, we almost neglect the primal, like, kind of basis that we have in ourselves, just because it's not a common thing. You're strapped to your daily schedule. Every hour of the day is filled with where you need to go, what you need to get done, work, stress, and you're inside a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Right?
I like our kind of and transition with all those,
Yep.
all three of those, to our last point of why it's important getting outside, getting sunlight. Because one, it'll just also lead you to getting more activity and possibly more socialization into your life. First, more activity, because if I'm going outside, I'm obviously going to have to be doing something out there. You can just be sitting, that's fine. But usually if I'm going to get outside, I'm going to have to go move. I'm usually going for a walk, going to do something outside. So that's either going to lead to increased steps in my day, or even just sort of some increased movement in the day.
Yeah.
And typically you might be doing that with someone, like we're going on a walk right now, kind of having a conversation.
Literally, and like, right, movement in general, getting outside, you're probably moving outside. That's going to reduce stress as well. That's going to improve your circadian rhythm, right? The whole basis of using your body for what it's made for, movement, right? Your body is made to move throughout the day, get outside and do things. So that's kind of the overarching thing we're getting at here on most of these podcasts is, right, movement and the tips and tricks you can do to get yourself back to where what the body is meant to be doing, you know? That's pretty much it.
So got a good base of, okay, why is it important to get outside? Why is it important to get sunlight on the skin? And next is, all right, how do I implement this? What's the first thing? How do I do it tomorrow?
Yep.
So first would be, if we can probably, and bringing it right back to sleep, being the most important factor, and something that's very much so neglected, is how am I going to do it? First thing would be, how do I just get sunlight on the skin early in the morning?
Yep.
So once you wake up, I know you even say you like to open the blinds, open the windows, actually get natural light right inside. I think that's a great move. Also, so after you're following that, maybe even go have that morning coffee right outside. Go stand outside 10 minutes, get some sunlight directly on the skin early in the morning.
Yeah, go for a walk, right? Anything you can do, get outside, walk the dog, right? Get up and start moving. Number 2 is going to be the how, right? In regards to that, open, what?
We just got into the how.
Or no, number 2 of the how. I'm talking specifically, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about, sorry, if you are staying inside, like we spoke, right? Opening windows, getting access to as much direct sunlight, right? Opening the blinds and getting outside is the premise of what we're trying to get at. If you don't have access to an outside area or something, like myself, it being in the apartment I'm in currently, it's tough. So opening the windows, getting direct warmth and sunlight on the skin, right? And as we just said, straight up on the body. That's it, bottom line, okay?
I like that.
Next one.
For the third, I think if we brought it back to how we talked about in our last in-between podcast episode about moving with intention, is thinking about how I can actually go for a walk, maybe on my recovery day or my outside of gym workout day, go for a walk, go for a hike, to ensure I'm actually going to be outside doing some activity for somewhere 30 minutes to an hour, moving the body, but ensuring that it's going to be outside.
Yeah.
But built around kind of my plan of my exercise for the week.
100%. One thing I actually wanted to touch on prior is looking for any type of thing that you can do outside to get direct sunlight. Like I said, opening the windows if you're even going for a drive, right, and you don't have time to go for a walk because you're on the way to work or you're going, if there's sun in the sky, open the sunroof or open the windows, and I'll do that, right? I'll try to put my face or my arm or skin or some type of body part in the sunlight, which is interesting. Little things you could think about, right? You're sitting in the car in rush hour or something, right? Try to open and get some natural light in. It's just going to be more beneficial for setting yourself up as little as it is.
I understand some days it's too humid to feel like this, but I love windows down more than AC. Just feels 100%. Just feels better.
Yeah.
Right. Just kind of having that natural air, natural light. Coming in.
So do I. Yeah. And right. So that being said, number 4 on our how is just choosing to do something outside with your day. Talked about walking, hiking. Right. That's kind of like more of a set task.
I think even we can compare it even to this. Or we can have this podcast sitting in our gym, in the studio, and choose to do that inside. But we like to come out, have an opportunity to just come outside and take a walk. So when you think about, do you have a meeting? Do you have something that isn't necessarily has to happen behind a desk with computer screens? How can you go do that kind of outside? Make it an easy way to just go get some sunlight on the skin for a little bit.
100%, right? Looking for any opportunity that you can to go and do that. Whenever you get the chance, right? Obviously, even if you live in a colder environment, same thing. Try to get some exposure. Even cloud exposure is going to be beneficial, even if it's not sunny outside, which is funny to say, but it's any contact you can get with outside air, outside light, anything helps.
Yeah, just to wrap it up, one, appreciate you guys being here today, but one, to kind of throw some more importance about getting outside, getting sunlight on the skin, how that's and why that's important for you, and kind of some easy ways you can go implement it tomorrow into your daily or weekly routine.
Yeah, guys. So hope you give this a listen and like it. Follow us, right, and listen to us wherever you like to listen to your podcast. Check us out on Instagram at the Well Life Podcast. And hope you guys like with what we've been coming out with and giving it a listen. Appreciate you guys.
Go listen to this podcast outside. Let's do it.